paper, you get an F. The press in this country, media, broadcast, print, whatever, has no accountability. If they make a mistake, there is no one to smack their hands. There's no one, you know, the libel laws are the only thing that we have to retaliate with as a private citizen. But even that, it's like David and Goliath, you know, trying to fight this. So unless someone, as a matter of fact, I think Brill's content, do y'all
wanted to communicate?
Yeah, well, the big issue, the big perspective issue, I think, is that we're not unique in this. This happens a lot in our country. I think the whole approach, in large degree, of the justice system has taken on this: you're guilty, you got to prove you're innocent. And that's why we've got innocent people in jail. That's why you read about every day in the paper people being released based on DNA evidence that was tested, and like, oops, they weren't guilty. But the police don't. I mean, if I can use our experience as applying to the 18,000 police jurisdictions that are out there, which isn't fair, but they make a decision, they decide guilt, and they try to prove it. And your job is to prove you're not guilty. And that's backwards.
Yeah, how do you prove you're not guilty?
Reginald?
See how they felt. And it's silly because they can't hurt you. Well, they can hurt you immensely with a camera because of the things they say about the picture. I've often said I'd rather have a gun pointed at me than a camera, because at least I know the gun, I know the worst it can do, the worst damage it can do. But just the feeling of being pursued, it's like the red fox being pursued by the hounds.
Every time.
Yeah, our attorneys were very, very afraid of the justice system because they knew it was flawed. And that was a wake-up call for us, I think. And one of the things that we want to make a difference in is that whole process. I mean, we've got inexperienced police in general, and this isn't a categorical statement, who are too eager to make an arrest. We've got prosecutors who are paid to prosecute, and we've got politicians that garner votes based on tough on crime, and it's dangerous. It sounds good to us law-abiding citizens, but it's a dangerous edge that we're kind of walking, and I'm convinced there are thousands of innocent people in our jails today. You see it every day when you pick up the paper. But that's what we were faced with, and our friend who was experienced.
What was bad was, I mean, you have to realize, you know, where we were coming from. There was a murderer in our home. You know, this murderer is still at large. So when we would come back to our car to a parking lot, and all of a sudden this, you know, this man jumps out from between a car with, you know, something in his hand. I don't know whether it's a journalist or a nutcase or the murderer, and I don't know if that's a camera or a gun. I mean, it's frightening, you know, when you know that there is a madman out there, and then journalists, you know, for the sake of the public's right to know, prey on you like this. It's inhumane.
One of the things about, well,
you know, we developed I'll call it a hatred for the media based on our experience in the beginning, and as we over time begin to meet what I call legitimate journalists and people that are at the top of the profession, we begin to realize, well, these people are decent people. They're smart. They're trying to do a good job, and yet we've been so biased by the dark side of the media. And so it was hard for us to sort out who was the good guy and the bad guy, and we shut out a lot of it because we just couldn't deal with it. It was hurtful. It would make.
You know, we had just lost our child. We weren't concerned with helping portray anything. I get criticized for not having, we both do, for not having acted right. You know, I spent weeks and weeks and weeks in bed, immobile, you know, crying. So, you know, no, we weren't out there giving a response because we were, you know, back there crying our eyes out. So I don't feel obligated, nor did I then, to have to provide information about, you know, try to get people to paint a picture of myself or something.
You know,
So-
people ask us, well, how can you have stood all this? I don't think so. I mean, I think it's more of a tier.
So what did you do different to somewhat shape the way the media covers? I know you face a lot of obstacles, but I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.
So, if you can remember to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about as far as I can go. 6, 7.
8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1,